puts it up. A floater from the side is good. What a move by Stokes.
Heck of a move by Jarnell. He just took Dakari Johnson on that play.
Stokes looking, trying to make a move. Turns, a little fall away. 10-footer is good.
You better hold Tennessee scoreless and then some. A near steal. That's great hustle by Shan Moore. She's not going to quit on this play. Hornbuckle, sweet play. Oh, my goodness. Blocks. Hornbuckle with the sweet move inside. You're going to take it away from me? I don't think so. Tennessee with the lead.
For the finish. As Green pulled it short with the air ball. CJ went in on Udrich, lays it in and draws the foul. The finishes of CJ Watson tonight. Bringing that one out. The bigs for Sacramento can shoot outside the lane. CJ tucks it down, draws another foul, and finishes again. Curry boxed out, so CJ could go to the iron again. Another foul, and another finish. What a night.
This time on Udoka. So this will be the third chance for a three-point play.
Morrow being harassed. CJ again. Keep firing. He's got 21 on 8 of 8 shooting. Kings Watson goes for a career best 40. Second Warrior to get 40 this year, with Monte having his 46-point game. Tolliver and his teammates congratulating him. The Clipper game, the Kings game. It was Steph Curry's triple-double, and now a team celebration around C.J. Watson and his 40 points.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Volunteer Road Show. And of course, you know you have to have two former volunteers, myself, Alexis Hornbuckle, Jarnell Stokes. Jarnell, say what's up to the people, man.
Hey, what's going on, Vol Nation? How y'all doing, man? Happy to bring some value to the show.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to having a great show today. I know y'all saw some clips of our boy CJ Watson on there. Listen, ever since I know CJ, he's been an upstanding man, so he's still out there doing the same things. Right now, he has some fundraiser things to do, and we thought we'd be able to grab him in time, but he's still out there helping and doing things in the community. So CJ, thank you for that, and we will definitely look forward to having him on the next show.
Yeah, my man CJ, he definitely I think he has a children's book out right now, right? He told me he was doing some type of bike run to raise money for COVID.
Right. Sure. He's always doing that. And also, big thank you to our sponsors, because we want to make sure that they know how thankful we are that we're able to do this show today, Jarnell, and all of our Ball Nation fans. Thank you, Hound Dogs of Knoxville and Kingston Pike, and also to the Tennessee Tap House on Peters Road, and also VolunteerRoadshow.com profile winner will be announced at the end of the show today. All right, so make sure y'all listen now and all the way through so that you can hear who is our winner on today's show. Jarnell, tell us some things. What's going on with you now? Let the people know where you're at, what are you doing, and kind of where COVID put you and what you're doing with that right now.
Well, yeah, I was having a championship season. Well, I would say I was the best player on the best team in China before I had to make an escape over to America when the COVID broke out. Like, I don't know, America really didn't know, but when I was in China, it broke out like 2 months before it even touched America, according to the media. So I was over there in a situation where like cops went from, liking me as an athlete to ready to put people in jail just for not wearing a mask. So I saw the extremes of communism just before I made it over here. And just a little bit about my story over here. I missed like 4 flights and I had to really, really live in the hospital. I mean, live in the airport, not the hospital, thank God. But and it was just tough. I was wearing like 5 pair of socks, 3 coats, 3 masks, because this is when it first started. It broke out. I'm in China, and my coaches and teammates still want me to practice and play. So I totally went the other route, and I said, you know what, I need to go home and see my fam, and before things get extremely bad, because I know history, kind of like you, Alexis. I know that history is definitely going to repeat itself. So it is smart to know and be more aware. So right now I was really pushing for the NBA, but just the way things happen with the bubble, I kind of realized and learned a lot about myself during this time with all the civil unrest. I'm not sure how I could, go out and play 5-on-5 or work out with even my trainer. Like it's kind of difficult right now with all just bodies dropping. It's kind of hard for me to do business unless so I'm very well aware of social injustice and all the madness that's going on around COVID and history. So to make it long story short, I'm on vacation. I got my red wine. I own a couple businesses, but thank God I have employees that really, really care to where I can do things like this. And I'm just happy to raise awareness with you, Alexis. How about you? What's going on in your world?
Hey, man, first off, it's just great to hear that you actually are putting self first, because a lot of people don't realize you can't pour out to others unless your cup is filled first. So it's great to hear a young Black man understand that and really take heed to that and really take that in, because as athletes, you already know, Jarnell, they expect us to play no matter what's happening in the world or personally. I mean, I've had family members, unfortunately, I've dealt with a lot of loss in my family, even from a young age, but it's always harder to take when you're across the waters. And you get it, but the GMs and the owners and the coaches, they don't get it because they don't really see you as people. They see you as merchandise. But we'll go into that different. We'll go into that another time. So what I got going on, though, man, I'm in Mooresville, North Carolina, up here by Lake Norman. And before COVID hit, I was coaching high school. It was my first year coaching varsity girls high school. And boy, oh boy, that can be a whole nother segment too, because they ain't built like us, bro. They just not. I thought that if you try out for something, that means you had an interest in it. That means you want to compete. And compete, that word in itself, I guess it's defined totally different nowadays. So that was a little different for me. Just started getting warmed up into our AAU. I have a nonprofit, North Carolina Reign. We actually partner with Tennessee Reign and Tennessee Flight. But we did one tournament with my elementary kids, shut down. And I was just I spoke to Jarnell earlier, and I was telling him, I said, man, listen, my first full year of retirement did not go anything like how I planned. I mean, y'all know I love sports. Grew up playing soccer since I was 4. Had scholarships in soccer. Obviously, basketball was my thing. And I'm glad I chose it because it gave me a free education. But also, sports is therapeutic to athletes, to competitors. So not having that, and I deal with like anxiety and little bouts of depression sometimes, and like mental health is real. But just being able to do podcasts or to reach out to the world about what's happening now, or to be able to talk to young athletes, that's kind of what I've ingrained myself into during this COVID right now. But to hear your stories about China, man, that's kind of scary because you literally were at the heart of it.
Yeah, I was in Zhejiang.
What was it called?
Xinjiang. I always say it wrong. Zhejiang, something like that.
Zhejiang, yes.
That's where they're holding a bunch of Uyghurs and Muslims, and that's also next to where the wet markets had kind of broke out. So a lot of people had traveled to where I was. But yeah, let me ask you this: have you talked to? Have you talked to Candace? I can't remember. Let me think. It was Anasiki. Yeah. What was the little point guard on your team?
All right, so we'll go 1 through 5. All right.
Yeah.
We had Shannon Bobbitt. That's who you're thinking about. AKA something special. Bobbitt, a little bit. All that. She good, man. She has a book out. Well, she's had a book out. Oh. She's been speaking. She's always doing something basketball with her camps and training, stuff like that. So Bobbitt is still Bobbitt. She's still a beast. Then at the 2 position, it was myself. And then at the 3 position, it was Alberta Gusty. She was also a JUCO transfer. She's a police officer in Nashville now. And I believe recently married. Yep. So congratulations, Bird, to you and your wife. And then at the 4, we had Candace Parker. And then at the 5, we had Nikki Onosike.
Yeah. How is Nikki doing?
Yo, Big Nick is doing great things. So she is actually
really.
coaching in Knoxville.
Okay.
At a school, at a high school. So Nikki being Nikki and Pat Summit, Coach Summit being who she was and giving us everything that she passed down, she totally revamped the locker room without any financial help. Straight did it. She's in there. Her brother EJ, who will be a Tennessee Volunteer male basketball player, right? Little EJ. I remember little EJ now. You got this is crazy that he's almost a grown man, but revamped the whole locker room. Walked in there once she accepted the job. And I mean, she's in there doing the demo, and then parents and teammates and staff and other people start to join in and they get donations. And
there you go.
Nikki changing the world, man. That's what she's doing.
I remember when I was like a kid, and I was kind of telling you this earlier, Billy, who also owns the Volunteer Road Show, that the football team and the Lady Vols team has been branded in my head since I was like 5 years old. So I was like 10 years old, sitting on the couch in underwear, tighty whities with my pops watching you hoop, not knowing that I was going to later go there. Like it was actually, actually you guys that really, really, carried the whole wave as far as, winning. But once I got to Tennessee, I'm not going to lie to you, I felt a little bit of pressure because as a male men's basketball player, I wanted to be the king of the city, the king of the school. And I felt like the Lady Vols was, doing their thing. Football wasn't doing that good, but you know how selfish us college athletes act.
Oh,
Do you remember any experiences where were you there with Wayne and Tyler and them, right?
Yep. Yeah, Wayne, Tyler, Duke, Josh.
That was the time. Jeez. I wish I had went there during that time.
Yeah.
But do you remember any type of prejudice, about you being, Lady Vols, or just your experience of being a girl involved in Knoxville? Do you remember any type of prejudice? Because I can remember me, and I owe an apology to, a lot of, I'm not going to say, I was promiscuous, but I had this mindset. I was raised to believe that men were just greater than women, and women were seen as sex objects. I mean, it's just all this crazy shit that we take for granted. Like, women have to live through this stuff. Like, I can just personally say I learned a lot of stuff through my dad, in which I later learned, through their whole divorce, what type of man I had been following and wanted to be like. So
right.
Now I can have these conversations with you, and I can really understand. So I want to know more. What did you experience as a Lady Vol player in Knoxville?
Man, honestly, I've experienced not too much prejudice when it comes to man versus woman. For me personally, most of my experiences, I honestly was racism. I had multiple encounters, and I told you this when we were speaking earlier. I'm born and raised in West Virginia. For those of you who don't know, Charleston, West Virginia was the city I was born in. I grew up in Dunbar. And the neighborhood, ironically, the neighborhood I grew up in was called the Bottom, right? And as we started to grow, we flipped it, and it's now known as the Mo or the Motab. It's the bottom spelled backwards, because basically you ain't gonna keep us at the bottom. We're gonna be on top. So that right there, number one, was a big change in my thinking of how people see you and how you can present yourself, right? So when I go to Tennessee, I love Tennessee since I fell in love and verbally committed to my parents more so in like 6th grade. This is where I'm going. I'm going there. This is what I'm working for. And I get there, and on the basketball athletic aspect of it, Jarnell, everything I ever dreamed of. Culturally, not quite. I mean, growing up in West Virginia, the racial numbers are obviously, we're a primarily white state. Okay. West Virginia is probably one of the most racist states in the nation. Love my West Virginia folk, but can't really love y'all if y'all don't see what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? So in Knoxville, for me, I have been called the N-word multiple times. I've come out of restaurants, been out in the parking lot talking to people. Somebody drive by, N-word, boom. You know why? Number one, I'm Black. If you don't know me, or I'm not in a uniform, or I'm not at a donor or sponsorship banquet, or I'm not in some type of Lady Vol gear, I'm not a Lady Vol. I am a Black woman or a Black person in society in America, period.
Same here.
So I experienced quite a bit of that. Now I was blessed that most of the places that I put myself in, they knew us as athletes. You know, I know you wanted to be the king, but I was the queen when I was there 04 to 08. You can ask anybody that. Well, I was over there running campus. But I always wanted – huh?
Was CJ there?
CJ was a senior my freshman year. Yeah, me and CJ used to kick it. Yeah.
Oh, how was he back then?
CJ was a beast on the court, underrated in my opinion on the court. But off court, CJ was cool in the breeze, bro. He's just real down to earth, good people to talk to. Kind of quiet, but very intelligent. And if if he cool with you, he cool with you, and you can see a different side of him.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, he wanted them people. He a good man though.
Yeah, I hear you. But back to what you were saying about racism.
Oh yeah, man. So I got called the N-word, whether I be out at a bar, whether I'm walking out of a restaurant, walking home from like the strip to campus. Because again, at the end of the day, especially the hours that sometimes I was out, is you got people that are intoxicated, inebriated, or whatever, and you're gonna see people's true colors come to light.
That's true. That's true.
So I could be walking from what used to be the Cube on the Strip, which I think now is like Chipotle or Qdoba or something. I don't know what it is now, but then be walking home to like Andy Holt. Get the F off the street, you N-word. Go back to where you came from.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, all of that. And I never share, unless you were with me, you don't know that. I didn't share it with my friends, my family, my parents, my teammates, my coaches, my trainers, nobody.
So how do you think we end racism? I mean, I know that's not an easy topic, but do you have some type of psychology or theory behind how it ends?
I mean, there's a few ways to how it ends. Will I be alive to see the end of it? I don't know. I hope so. I hope I'm alive for a big enough wave to hit the movement that I can really experience the end of it. But honestly, Jarnell, I don't know. That's hopeful.
What do you mean? Why are you saying you don't know? Because I mean, it's a lot of. I mean, obviously, I have a theory on this too, but it's a lot of people who are getting great opportunities as black men, and you have people aren't getting killed as much. I mean, slavery is over, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Open slavery is over, but is slavery over? You know what I mean?
I think right now with like basketball and nobody being able to watch sports and different productions, I think that has helped a lot of minds. Like not having a job, like now people have to face the truth. Like you can't really escape. And I personally, I was one of those guys. Like I emailed LeBron. Carmelo, that's my dog. But I DM'd Kyrie, and I was like, let's start a new league. I was like, I want to see it happen. Because, I mean, seriously, we're making the corporate billions of dollars. They're using our talent, our energy, our wealth, everything that we could, everything to basically provide a mindless entertainment. So I look at someone like Michael Jordan, for instance. He donated $100 million. I mean, Team Nike, Team Jordan did over the course of 10 years. And I think, that's cool. That's cool as hell, man. He definitely did his thing financially. But his brand, I mean, the mindless entertainment, I mean, he doesn't have to give.
He can have his own league, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like when we try to start this revolution, guys just go silent and try to squeal on different things like it's not possible. And I'm not saying it's a revolution to start our own league, but what I'm saying is we're in a situation where we're literally like 80% of the league. But 100%, 99.9% are white owners. 80% of the media is white. Like, we can't portray our own story anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a blessing in disguise that a guy like Kyrie was. And then they talk about the collective bargaining agreement. I'm well aware. I don't want to go into details, but it could serve us a lot of justice being ripped up. Let's put it like that. So a lot of guys right now worried about that child support and the car notes, paying for that fifth car that's sitting in the lot type shit. Like, I have no respect for those kind of people, honestly. Like I literally can see us in a situation where if we were to start a black league, yeah, there may be some struggle, and there may be some people that turn away from it. Like seriously, a lot of white people are going to say hell no, but they're not going to watch a league with Luka and Porzingis the star players. Like, who the fuck is watching that? Come on.
Yo, that's so true, though. That's so true. Because what are we doing? We're entertaining, right? They love the explosiveness. They love the high-flying acts. They love the crazy passes, the athleticism. They love all that. And I'm not saying that there's no white athletes that can do that. But like you say, primarily that's coming from the black community or the minorities. And the reason I said I hope that I'm alive to really see the end of it is it's systemic. So it's literally at the top. It's literally behind the scenes of names and people and organizations and affiliations that the common public have zero knowledge of. Mm-hmm. And economically, we are oppressed. So unless we can economically go back to how it was when there was a Black Wall Street and we were circulating our dollars within our communities, but instead of only keeping it black, if we keep it to minorities as a whole, because you got to think America wasn't America. I mean, Jarnell, we can spend hours on this topic. But it's funny because everything that's happened when it comes to the peaceful protests that turn into riots that aren't started by black folks, the riots aren't started. The majority of the time, the riots are not started by the black community and the peaceful protesters. There's plants, there's white people, there's cops, there's things that are happening to provoke or invoke a riot.
Yeah, I went to a protest. I saw it with my own eyes. Like we were unified. People were dropping jewels on the people. Like all type of knowledge was being passed. There were even times where we had silence of just meditation and put your sage up. Like it was real unity. And then the cops came and everything got destroyed. Seriously, got destroyed. Yeah, I went on a protest with my NBA teammate. I don't want to say his name because of how the story ends up, but we were protesting and they issued something like 8:30 curfew or some shit. And we were like, okay, we're not doing that. So they came around 8:45, and make a long story short, we were on the run. I made a dive through an alley into a white lady's house, like literally with like 5 other people, and it made me feel like I was a runaway slave at the time. Like seriously, it was a bad time. And I look back in history, and this is where the whole defund the police thing really rings a bell. If you look at that system and when they started in the 1800s. Their first name was called the Runaway Slave Patrol. So if you think like it doesn't tie into today and like we have plantations, like I was asking you the question about like, are we still like, we're not slaves anymore. We're free, but there's still plantations, and there's still, like when I say plantation, I'm talking about the jail cell and how politicians and, jail owners and prisons, and like it's paying for the entire circle from the political top to, putting minorities in the jail. So I would say we aren't free, but there is a disease that is really, really bigger than any of this shit, like COVID, bigger than cancer, bigger than diabetes, and that's mental health. Seriously, I really think that we're living in this society where there is a bigger mental health epidemic than anything else. Like, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I would definitely agree. And I personally experienced that. So I might have been less gun-ho to agree with you probably a year or two before, but I've been through my own personal struggles, and obviously I've sought the help that I need to seek. Headed in the right direction. And one person that has been just amazing, helping me to really identify and deal with and come out publicly is Shamiqua Hostclaw. That's my big sis. I mean, we talk all the time. Yeah, man, I love her. I love her to death. She's great people, but everybody knows like she is a mental health advocate. She's going across the world, changing lives. But it is real. And as athletes, I don't care what color you are, as athletes, we are trained to push through. We are trained that there is nothing that's supposed to break us down to the point where we want to quit or to the point where we are incapacitated mentally to the point where we don't have drive for ourselves that is so natural most times. And what people don't understand, whether you're an athlete or a non-athlete, when you get shut down as an athlete, it makes you want to go harder. That doesn't mean you're always going to work smarter, right? So that doesn't mean you're actually going to identify the problem. You're just going to try to show everybody that you're not weak.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it has a lot to do with that. But hey, Jarnell, right before, hold on 1 second, because I know Scott came in here. He said, "What's up?" Thank you, Scott, and everybody else who's listening. He said there's a lot of similarities in 2020 that were happening in 1918, and we continued to talk. And I think that we kind of shared some similarities. We didn't really dive into it. What triggered me just now, though, I can already see how this show about to go. This guy David Newcomb said, "All right, I'm gonna head out. Should have known." And David, I don't know if you already headed out, but I would like to know, what is it that you should have known? I would like to know, because this show is open, y'all. We want to talk to y'all. We want to share experiences. We want to help educate, motivate, but also enlighten. So before everybody just says, this isn't Black Athletes just talking about how great Tennessee is. No, you're getting us as people. You're getting us as people, and we want to talk to you as people. So please, what are your questions? Let's talk. Let's educate. Let's have a conversation.
It's not a Black Lives Matter. I support, but I don't support everything about Black Lives Matter. Like, for instance, the leader at Chaz, they're trying to say is our leader. That's not my leader. And I really stress that a lot. Like, I represent good versus evil, not black and white. Like, I have white. Like, most of my workers, most of my partners, I'm in business with a lot of white people. Like, how can I be racist? My coach was white. Like, so I'm thrilled to have a conversation that we never could have. Like, my ancestors, my parents, having just this vision right here, us being able to have Bobby and Billy put together a platform for us to link and talk about things outside of basketball. Like, my parents used to walk around even the hood with their head down when the cops came. It's a different generation. Like, we can talk and be open. So I want you guys to know, any questions, unbiased, I'm here for it.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, this is it's crazy, because I'm gonna put it out there, because the comments or the people that have come and then died off a little bit, I guarantee y'all came into this thinking, oh my God, 2 former Vols. We're about to talk about how great Tennessee is. What do we think about the sports starting up, not starting up, our personal journeys at Tennessee? Listen, we're always going to give you that, because we bleed orange, and VFL, LVFL. That's not play. That's a family thing. So we're always here to uplift and talk about and encourage people to come back to the orange and build our programs to dominate again in all sports. So yes, we're here for that, but we're also here to talk about what's happening now. And what's happening now is COVID-19, right? And racism. Period. All lives matter. Miss me with that. All lives don't matter. If there is one minority of lives that don't matter, we cannot say all lives matter. Period.
True.
Unless you don't consider those people as a life.
Yeah.
So this is the type of show you're going to get. So if what Coach Summit used to tell me all the time, big time players make big time plays. Don't sit in the big chair if you're not ready for the responsibility. We have stepped up. We're ready for this responsibility. Are y'all ready to join into this with us as volunteer family, but also as people who advocate for equality and justice? That's what we're here for, man. Love, not hate, period.
Hey, seriously. I'm like, even putting up the fist, like, the black fist doesn't mean power. It really doesn't. It means adversity, and just having that stance to where we're that generation where we can finally take a stance. And here we are. We may be ahead of our wave right now. Like, just talking about the stuff we're talking about, it just may not be ready for the world, but let's do it anyway. Let's definitely provide. And the people who do get value from it, please leave a comment or ask any questions if you don't agree with something we're saying, because I'm totally open. I'm here just to give back. I mean, I literally, when I went to Tennessee, I did not just go for basketball. Like I put out a goal that I was going to be the governor. Then I later learned that the laws and the rules and shit was just like I couldn't be that guy. I was the person to fight the governor. But at the same time, I'm happy that I can reach lives across the entire state.
Globe.
I could have went to Memphis. I could have went to Kentucky, Florida, and really done the whole basketball thing and just said forget the alumni. Like a lot of Kentucky players don't care about Kentucky, but to be honest, I'm only here and I rep the orange just as a freaking leader, and that's it. Like I'm a leader. That's and I produced mindless entertainment, and I feel guilty about my time at Tennessee because, like you said earlier, you can't pour a cup that's half, unless you fill it. So I didn't have much to give back at Tennessee, and now I'm just doing what I promised myself I would do.
Man, great words. And now y'all being active. That's what I want to see, y'all. I want to reach out to y'all. Now y'all getting active. And Jarnell, I gotta pick your brain after we deal with some of these questions, though. So Percy said good versus evil is better than the black and white argument. And let's start there. Gary, Mike, I see your comments. We're gonna give it to y'all. I promise you in a second. But let's start with Percy. Good versus evil is better than black and white. And you said that, Jarnell. And tell me exactly why you say that. As a black man, why do you say that?
Well, it depends on how deep you want to go, because
I want to go so deep that it's revelational. Like,
all right, cool. Hey, that's what I like to hear. Well, the terms black and white literally originated in like the 17, 16, 1500s. Like it was literally originated during slavery. So to make that a point, everyone went by their culture before this. So people moved and thought. They acted differently. It wasn't black and white back then. It was my culture versus your culture. And so everyone could pretty much, and now we're living in a world where only one culture only knows who they are, to be honest. We can go deep there, another conversation, but if we're talking about the Jewish and the Jews and, different cultures were robbed of who they were. I'm talking about white people today still don't know who they are. Because, it was just a situation where one culture took over. So the reason why I make it good versus evil is only because of knowing that pre-existing knowledge. Of course, it can't be saved and helped. It's all psychologically now, and it's a system to push these narratives. But how do you feel about it?
Oh, man, I'm going to have to be on the other side of that argument because as someone who has had multiple experiences and encounters with racism, if I would have been pulled over or spit on or called the N-word or followed around the store for no reason by somebody other than white people, maybe I would say it's good versus evil. But being a black woman in West Virginia, then in Tennessee, and obviously overseas, and throughout every part of this nation, any and every encounter that I've ever experienced negatively when it comes to race and equality has only come from the white race. So for me, it's not good versus evil. It's black and white. There's no gray area with me personally. And like, if you know the stories of what my parents, what my grandparents went through, what your grandparents went through, but it's different hearing them because I used to have a whole different perspective on it until I experienced it over and over and over again. So, and what's funny is I do this call every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Me, my mom, and my dad started it. It's called Uplifting Voices Everywhere. Anybody, men, women, gay, straight, black, white, European, we don't care. Spanish, Latino, we don't care. We want everybody there to bring up their voices and how can we get to true justice and equality for all, not blacks.
Let me ask you this. So you said that it's a black versus white war. And
right now, that's the biggest fire right now that has to be put out. Yes,
that is the biggest fire. But I look at different leaders like, and we can go as deep as MLK, Malcolm X. These leaders died, got assassinated. But now these new leaders who are black and represent the race. Some of them, you know, I would say they work for white companies, just to be honest. So would you say that is, you know, considered white versus black, or would you call out the leader and like say, we need to boycott this bullshit guy who's taking bribes from, you know, different white
That's
companies?
when it has to be the latter part of it, because that's always going to happen, man. Some people are only about money. Some people are only about status. Some people are, how do I get to the top? How do I get that respect? But the thing is, if people can buy you, you'll never be fully respected.
That's real.
You will be fully used. You won't be fully respected. Now, you may accomplish what you think you set out to accomplish, but everything was ran by not your agenda and not your mind and not your purpose and not your passion, but theirs. So yeah, you got to call them out. You got to say, this is not what this fight is about. We can't get to everything else until we put out this fire. Otherwise, we're going to cause a bigger fire. And when I say we, I mean the bad, right? I mean, the white cops, the injustice that's happening, it's going to continue to spread outside of the black people, because if we continue to fight and stand up, will it diminish a little bit? Of course. But if we do it, the Asians do it, the Latinos do it, the Mexicans do it, the whites do it, the Hawaiians do it, the Alaskans, I don't care who you are. If everybody gets on the same damn page, we're going to get the results we want. So is it everybody has to get on the good, but everybody has to define what is good. What is good? Because there are the people who are at the top saying what we're doing is good, and everybody that's in the middle and at the bottom that's fighting for what really is good is saying that's not good. So number one, good has to be defined culturally, ethnically, and nationally to everyone in order for everyone to truly come together for all lives to matter. Again, you will not catch me saying all lives matter. You can miss me with that. Until all lives matter, period. Black lives got to matter. Mexican, Spanish, immigrant lives got to matter. Poor people got to matter. Gay, LGBTQ plus community got to matter.
Yeah.
Then we can say all lives matter. Until then, y'all lives matter. That's what it's. It ain't all. It's y'all, and y'all it typically being the whites.
Yeah, and I don't want to start talking about, you know, the old days with slavery and plantations and shit, but sometimes it feels like with all this, I know they say we live in a capitalism world. Personally, it feels like the corporate runs everything. So with all the greed going on, I wonder if, you know, in all these minority jobs, is it still sharecropping going on? You know, I mean, that was a huge issue right after slavery. And now we're still sitting in that situation. And then again, you know, when I go back to mental health, I'm wondering, you know, how do we define good and evil if we have, you know, different leaders that, you know, would literally sell us short? Like, I mean, let's call them out. Like, I'm the type where I'm like, man, let's call them out, because, you know, I grew up in a rough environment too, but I was always had it on my mind that I was going to be a king. You know, I was going to be my best self. And I felt like some of these leaders felt like I was misled along the way. You know, so you know, I was that guy standing in line for Jordans. So now it's like, fuck you, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you teach me all this stuff that now I've, you know, had to learn on my own through a whole bunch of struggle. So, you know, I grow a huge admiration for Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and shit, who we knew, and all these guys that really stood up. But I really want people to understand that this is a war on good and evil. It's definitely not Democrat, Republican. But let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on Kanye West? Are you voting for him?
No.
You're not voting for him? Oh,
no.
Man. I thought black people vote for blacks.
If I agree with them, okay, you asked about, you know, how do we find good versus evil? Kanye's been on every side. Yeah. And is it because that's
right? He was preaching and stuff. He was doing the church service, right?
Listen, I listen to some of Kanye's music. I can't get down with all of it, but I listen to. He got one song that I actually go hard to, and I mean it's heavily about Jesus. But I listen.
Back in the day.
Huh? No. It's a new song. It's a new song.
Okay. Word.
I'm gonna send it to you after this. I'll send it to you. But I think Kanye is probably literally one of the most brilliant artistic minds we've seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that flat out, okay? I also think that man a little bit crazy, okay? And he has a right to be. He's gone through a lot. He lost his mother. You know, he's married to a Kardashian. So it's like yes. I think he's very intelligent, but I also think that he's one of them people that he speaks his mind sometimes, but he also is a puppet at times. And I can't vote for a black puppet that I feel like is still going to bring forth. You'll bring a little bit, but you're not really going to be there for the fight. You're just trying to take away from Trump and Biden versus, like, what are you truly bringing to the table? He missed his deadline to file as a free candidate in multiple states. How serious are you?
Yeah, that says a lot right there. I think so you think it's a Trump narrative? You think Trump pushing it?
Unfortunately, I think it's due because if Kanye can still votes from Biden, and trust me, guys, I do not agree with everything Biden stands for. Okay, let's put that out there. But I think that right now, number one, you have to vote. Go vote, go vote, go vote. You have to vote. And it's a matter of choosing the lesser of the evils and continuing our fight, but amping it up when you get a lesser evil in office. You get what I'm saying? I think this is more about, this is like a war right now. So it's strategic. And you're fighting different battles, and each battle does not represent the end of the war. It's either just a victory or a loss, and every point is a learning point, and how do we move forward to really get to the end result that we're seeking? I think that's where we're at. But no, I can't vote for Kanye just because you're black. I can vote for black, intelligent people that are about true change, and they can actually put it out in public, put it out written. People can read it. It's not on a story that's going to dissipate in 24 hours. This is who you are. This is what you stand for. This is what you're driving. Then I would be able to say 100% I'd vote for Kanye. But hell no.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Kanye is a businessman. Like, he'll take a bribe in a heartbeat. Let's be honest. Like, I'm kind of spiritual, but, you know, them disco services, I mean, geesh. I was just listening to the words, you know, forget about the vibes and the emotions. He didn't bring nothing that I felt was good enough to the table. And now we're living in a world where they are printing $15 trillion. They printed $15 trillion this year, like the whole world. So, and we still have people dying, and, you know, all that money went to the corporate and, you know, different sponsors and their own political buddies, as opposed to small businesses. So we're in a fight where this is a very, very important election. Will I vote for Kanye? I'm leaving it in the air, to be honest. I really do see what you're saying with, you know, the Biden and him taking away votes from Biden. But I like that, you know, like I was a guy that voted for Trump, just being honest. I voted against Hillary because I felt like it was a lesser of the two evils. I looked into WikiLeaks, and Hillary did some pretty foul shit. Let's just put it like that. But
they all do, bro. They all do.
Yeah, exactly. She just got caught. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. She just got caught. It's crazy. If y'all really knew what happened, I'm talking about, they murdering people, babies, families.
Man, did you see what happened? Did you see today on the news, this company called Wayfair Furniture?
Yes, literally. My girlfriend just told me about that. Man, we love Wayfair. I'm scared to order. I can't order from Wayfair no more.
Well, I didn't know they were before, but damn, should we boycott Wayfair, or is it like? That's
what I'm saying. Well, they're openly sex trafficking. What do you mean? Do we boycott them? Yes, and I'm about to move next month. They killing me.
That's real. But at the same time, though, like how do we know that was sex trafficking? Like, I wish we could play the video right here for everyone. Maybe we play it after and edit it or something. But if you look up Wayfair Furniture,
did they not take it down?
What'd you say?
Is the video still out there?
They took it down off their website, but you know, it's still videos out there. Yeah, you know, social media.
Yeah, you're right. We got to find that, because that right there blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Yeah, they had like prices of like $15,000 shelves of just like a freaking wooden shelf worth $15,000. But this girl that just went missing 3 months ago is the name of the shelf that they're buying for 15 racks. Come on. So, I mean, it's been going on since freaking, you look into Christopher Columbus, like what they did to the natives. Like, it's been going on for a while. So I can imagine the same bloodline is kind of behind these things. And
you know what we need?
You say?
My bad. Go ahead. My
No,
bad. Go
it
ahead. What
just
you
seems as if just all that bullshit is decaying. It really does. I mean, with social media, these different platforms, like I was wishing for a smaller party to rise because we have social media. Like we can literally, reach the people way faster. We're not depending on the 5 channels back in the day that was
right?
ran by, just corporate America. So I'm kind of excited about the times. I know we can't control everything and get rid of all this evil, but as long as we, keep posting and being more aware, and me and you having this bold conversation as current athletes. Well, you just retired, but even as a coach, I mean, you still have to be around parents and do your work with other people. So you speaking your truths is going to offend people. So I commend you for that. Seriously.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. You too, though, because to be the age that you are and being willing and openly just ready to step into it wholeheartedly, like, heart of a lion type joint, we about to enjoy it. And I definitely appreciate you. You know what I mean? You're a great representation for any other young Black king. So thank you for doing that.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. Before we start to kind of wrap this up, let me make sure I knock out these last few questions and comments. We always want to make sure our fans know we really here for y'all. So Gary, he said, Alexis and Jarnell, good to hear y'all speaking the truth and bringing the knowledge to people that have been privileged enough to not have to experience inequality. Yeah. And what's funny is that's not just white people. My girlfriend is Colombian, Puerto Rican, and she hasn't experienced inequality personally. Everything that she's learning now and knowing is because I'm opening up, I'm sharing, you know what I mean? Her family members, my family members, or what's happening obviously on the world. So you're welcome. Yo, because this is what we're here for, to be honest.
Yeah, appreciate you coming.
Yeah, Mike Wyatt. So, do you all support a Black national anthem?
I haven't thought about that.
Jarnell, you haven't thought about it? Okay, I'll give you my immediate thoughts. I haven't really sat and really thought deeply. My mother asked me this though about 4 days ago, to be honest. So that was my first time thinking about it. I think that it is a as my dad would call it, a bait and switch. It's let me try to give them something and distract them from the big target, the real purpose. And that's the same thing of, okay, you can change product names, you could change university chants or names or mascots, change laws, change policies.
Seriously.
Change. Don't cover it down. Y'all putting cover up paint on, man. That's not happening. And I think the Negro national anthem, the Black national anthem, I love it. I know it. I had to learn it growing up. But do I think that that's what needs to happen? Listen, how many people hear every single national anthem before a game? It's a commercial time. So giving us the Black national anthem and what's being played second is the regular national anthem. They're going to be coming back to what song at the end before they show the players? The regular national anthem. So don't give us something if you ain't really giving us something.
That's true. I agree with you. I think, that's just a small step, super small. Because I mean, I like to see it. Yeah. What'd you say?
I said it's not necessary.
Yeah. Seriously, yeah. I mean, democracy is too slow. Like you said, we need to change laws. Like none of my ancestors were here to make the Emancipation Constitution, whatever. So, maybe we can get some laws just passed right away. Like we don't have to change and go see Article 40A. Let's just, pass the law.
Period. That is just that simple. And Gray, man, you've been killing it. I love your activeness on here. We can never be free if our ability to buy food and safety is tied to our ability to sell our time for money, wage, salary. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, freedom, true freedom. That means you're not tied down to anything.
True, very true. That's why I love entrepreneurship. Seriously.
Yeah.
I've been quiet all my freaking life just because I didn't want to mess up my basketball career. Honestly, I didn't want to offend my Black brothers and sisters and my white fans. So I'm happy.
Yeah. It feels good, right? He's coming back in, a little glitch, but I felt the same way as Jarnell did. you're supposed to support a certain narrative as an athlete because obviously you're getting paid or you have that scholarship for that school. So it feels good to be an open representation of self. This is so Kevin said, "This is great. Love to go on with you guys, VFLs, man. Thank you, Kevin. Keep joining us. Bring more people. Tell them about us. This is real conversation. So it's all good. Nah, you good, man.
Yeah. Appreciate the cover.
Yeah, man. I always, baby. I got you. So and then San Garcia, FYI, y'all don't know who that is. That's my baby, y'all. Love how real this conversation is going. Of course, there will be different opinions, but it's important to be open and have a respectful, open conversation. And I think that's exactly what we were saying before you kind of cut out. So it's y'all, this is what we're here for. Listen, number one, I got so many blue-eyed, blonde-haired cousins. I'm talking about first cousins. I ain't talking about people that are married into the family 3 generations down the road. I'm talking about first cousins, right?
Wow.
Yes, a lot, man. My family, we got Spanish, like Spanish and black. We got white and black. We got Samoan and black, or Samoan with the black-white mix. We got all types, bro, in my family. So you look at them off from afar, you're like, oh, yeah, it's a white guy. They safe on that aspect, and then, they get pulled over and they look like a straight Hornbuckle, the black nose, the feet.
Yeah. Hold on, now.
So I need everyone to understand I love all people. I love love, and I love to love, and I love to give love and receive it in the proper manner. And I'm just thankful, Jarnell and Bobby and Billy, that y'all have allowed me to be a part of this, man. This is something special.
Yeah, same here. I'm so excited. Like every Saturday, we should do this like every day. There's so much going on in the world. We got so much to share. But let's hold off to next Saturday. I know you're starting the show, right? Or you already have a podcast?
Yeah, man. Every Monday, 7 p.m. If anybody else wants to kind of continue these conversations, and Jarnell, I'm about to have you. I'm about to just put you on the show, bro. You got to come be a guest for me and really spit that knowledge. It's called The Collective Unfiltered. Myself, Jamel Johnson, former Lady Ball soccer player, my best friend. She was also, at the time when she came out of college, she was the youngest assistant coach, but also the youngest black female assistant coach for Division I soccer at Iowa. Then she also became an assistant coach at the University of Texas. She walked away from that job to be an entrepreneur. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. She had a steady check. She had great benefits. And she was like, this isn't what I need to be doing in life. So The Collective Unfiltered, every Monday night at 7. Support your balls, support black businesses, support people, support things that are headed in the right direction. I don't care what race they are, because there's really only one race. That's the human race. So let's learn to love all as one.
There you go. Love it. And I'm definitely going to be on the show, man. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. And anything else you got to say?
I don't got nothing to say, man.
Okay.
No comments. Just let me make sure we got everybody. JT Stronghold, love you both. 3 of my favorite VFLs, man.
JT, appreciate it, baby.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Jarnell, if you want to just take the people out, let them know what time they can catch us next Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate you guys watching. Always guaranteed value. We're definitely going to talk about sports, but right now there's a lot going on in the world, and we did cover some sports, but a lot of it was about, COVID and racism, just because that's what's going on. We may even talk politics, but primarily this is a show about good and evil. So if you want to check us out next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern time, let's do it. Let's leave your comments, ask any questions. We're here for you guys.
All right, man. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Y'all be blessed. Thank you.
Peace out.